I feel like every time Crucial ever talked, it was making mad sense and mad
Not
logic.
Crucial backstage.
Crucial 13, you all appreciate it. Shout out to you.
Okay, things just keep getting more crucial and crucial. Okay, recently I came across a hidden channel on YouTube. Not sure how to pronounce the name yet. Saifo Shamada, or I believe that's it. And this channel talks a lot of real knowledge. Like a lot of stuff I'm talking about, this channel talks about. And he also has some very strange things as well, where he says he's trapped in like a lower plane and he's, been tricked into inviting entities into his life to where he's, being like trapped by demons and stuff like that. It gets really spooky with this channel here. And I actually am intrigued by it because I've had an incident in 2014 where I could have easily became like, it's hard to explain to people, but there is other realms around here, and this 3D that they keep us boxed in is governed by by other beings, and it's hard to really explain. So I don't write off people who say this type of stuff because I could have easily fell into this if I didn't find myself and figure out how to contact God's beings and stuff like that. If I didn't figure that out, I don't know what would have happened to me. But nonetheless, the stuff is very entertaining and intriguing. So I will be covering some of this guy's posts and some of his content because the content actually, is very relevant to what I post. But he has a post right here that I'm going to go through, and it actually, makes a lot of sense to what I've been talking about. So it starts off, it says, is there a karma for stealing someone's soul by demonic entities? Yes, and more. But first, let us correct the foundation. A soul cannot be truly stolen, because like I say, these beings can never get to the soul. They'll get you, but they ain't gonna get that soul, that light that burns them out. They can't possibly get that, because once that's fully thriving and your soul is fully at capacity, it actually destroys them. So they'll never get that. But it says it can be bound, fragmented, ensnared, or manipulated, but never fully removed from its divine source. A soul is an eternal emanation of source and is never permanent possession of any being, not even by the darkest forces. Yeah, they can't touch that. Then it continues. What then happens when demonic or parasitic entities attempt to control, suppress, or trap a soul? They incur profound karmic consequence. When an entity violates the sacred sovereignty of another soul, especially through force, deception, or energetic domination, it creates a rupture in the cosmic order. What do I tell y'all about the planet cleansing? That rupture must eventually return to balance. When the planet is off balance, it has a self-cleansing mechanism that is going to return it back to balance. This is not revenge. It is the law of harmonic restoration. So this may remind you of all my videos where I'm saying get on the earth's frequency and vibration, which is the opposite of these demonic entities' vibration, or else you're going to be wiped away with it, because the planet is already at a collective, it's in collective turmoil right now, and it has to restore itself. It's going to cleanse. It's going to destroy all this low vibrational energy, or lack of, or they're not energy beings, but it's the death force. It's going to destroy all that and restore back to normal, back to harmony, back to balance. And my channel really teaches people how to start eating right, how to stop being high all the time, stop being drunk, actually be sober minded and cleansed, or else you're gonna have to be restored. You know what I mean? I like the way this channel puts that, because this is very important information. Let's continue. It says, just as light expands itself, darkness collapses upon itself when it feeds beyond its station. But do these entities care about karma? Often they do not. Many of these beings are disconnected from source. They no longer evolve. They feed. In doing so, they delay their own reckoning. But the law does not forget. Even in the hidden realms, balance is inevitable. Now, what do I always say about these people terraforming the planet. What they do is they keep it low vibrational enough for them to keep feeding on it without it being too powerful for them. Because like he's saying, when the earth and anything in harmony restores itself. So when it's fully vibrational, the demonic entities, the parasites, will never be able to touch it because they get destroyed by it. So what they have to do is terraform things to lower its vibration so they can come and feed on it. You know, and it delays their karma or whatever. They figured out throughout the start of time that, you know, they figured out how the karmatic debt works on the planet. So they know that, okay, if you touch that, you're going to get burnt. If you do this, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. So they figured out ways to prolong that so they can keep feeding. And they're a death force. They're not wise. They're not moral. They don't have any of them, you know, any of that instilled in there. It's the opposite of us. We're the light. We're positive. We're love. We're peace. We're high frequency, high vibration. We're God's children. We're the Most High, the universe, harmony, balance. We're all of that. They are the complete opposite of us. They're parasitic. Okay, and what I told y'all about that time in 2014, when I contacted them higher beings, they all they kept saying was they're nothing like us. They're parasitic. They're parasitic. They're parasitic. I didn't even know nothing about parasite beings or anything like that when they were telling me that shit. When I got them codes, when I got that instilled in me, okay, when I got that upgrade, that upload, I never knew nothing about that, but they kept stressing these are parasitic beings. And then later on, I learned the term energy vampire and all this other type of stuff. Beings that feed on the light. You know, the darkness that feeds on the light, the darkness that feeds on itself. One thing that kept happening when I was in that lower state, when I had that shit going on in my head and all that, I kept realizing, dude, this thing is eating itself. These things, the visions I would get would be like the most worst shit you could picture. And it kept like eating itself. It's hard to explain, but I would see like one thing pop up in my head, then another thing would like consume it. And then it kept doing it over and over again. So I'll explain that more in another video. But when he's talking about this death force consuming it, so it's nothing but a force that consumes. That's why most of you guys are put under spells by the media and stuff to consume every day. Everything is the consumer. You are under a death force spell. Let's continue. It says some are eventually dissolved into source and restructured. Others are captured and returned to stasis. A few may choose to turn toward the light, but it is rare. Is karma applied to the human soul that becomes the attacker? Yes, if a human through free will becomes an agent of such theft or possession, whether through black rituals, energetic contracts, or willful harm, they become karmically entangled with the soul they harm. Okay, what I would say about this is that all humans, you're a vessel for either the light or the dark. So any human under this, you know, taking part in this type of stuff or anything is completely under the spell of these energy vampires. That's all I can say about that. It then continues. This karma is not limited to one lifetime. It binds across time until repair, restitution, and deep realignment occur in the future lives. They may face deep fragmentation or be drawn to healing roles in order to rebalance what was once broken and what the soul that was stolen. The soul cannot be owned, but it can be wounded. In cases, fragmentation may occur, soul loss, memory loss, confusion, or deep unconscious trauma. These souls often require soul retrieval, healing, and multiple incarnations to reintegrate their full light. Now, Crucial 13 is a channel that can reach many different people of all walks of life. We're talking about spiritual people. We're talking about religious people. We're talking about people that may not know none of that shit, but have a moral compass. We're talking about all walks of life here. Now, for the people that may not believe in like a reincarnation thing, I'm not sure what I believe on all this type of stuff, but I do know that I feel like an old soul. You know, I feel like I know some people who ain't really wise and don't have a discernment or a moral compass, they seem like new souls to me, like souls that were like I just did the Final Destination, souls that weren't supposed to be here, souls that were reproduced from people who were immoral, from people who, were lacking and out of alignment, out of natural order. So I feel like, but then I also feel like some people can come through a vessel that ain't really in alignment either. So it's like, I don't know what to really believe about that, but I do know I sometimes get deja vu. I get dreams where they're real. I feel like an old soul. So I do subscribe to the fact that some people have came back on the planet to help wake other people up who are coming here. This if you could look at this planet like it's not just once in a lifetime thing, you only get one life, live it, YOLO type thing. If you could look at it like it's a prison, or it's some place that you came because of maybe something you did before or something. Some people feel like they've rebelled against the Most High and were sent here. So if you could look at this on a higher level, and you could look at the old soul versus new soul thing, there's a lot of merit to some of this stuff, because I sometimes feel like I'm here to correct myself, but I also feel like I'm here to, also help other people. And what I mean by, like, some religious people, they understand this as well on this level, that you're here to make the choices between right and wrong. So you're actually here to be corrected. You know what I mean? So what are you correcting yourself from is the question. What did you do in it before? And if you also look at your body being just a body vessel, and then you look at your soul and your spirit as a separate thing, your spirit is occupying this body. So where did your spirit come from? Where did your soul, your astral body come from? Is a very good question. Then the last paragraph continues. It says, "But hear us clearly, no soul is ever lost forever. The divine within always calls it home. Final truth. There is always consequence for violating soul sovereignty. No darkness escape the light forever. All distortion must face its echo. Yet we also say, do not fixate on punishment, fixate on liberation, on repair, on healing. Even the wounded can become whole again. We are complete in this truth." Okay, I definitely agree with that, because some people who are focused on revenge and all that, I know some spiritual people like that as well. They're these people have hurt you, but they don't know you are protected by beings that will make their life a living hell. And these type of people are under, direct possession of energy vampires. That's a sick perversion of liberation. Okay, it's a low vibration. Revenge is always, low vibrational. It's always demonic. But if you see, and they'll use that against you as well. So when you start realizing, revenge is bad, you might not even want to be diligent, vigilant against them, because you might, it's bad to do this. But there is also this, whenever somebody's doing you wrong, if there's somebody directly trying to harm you, you have that universal restoration right, like he states, to correct whatever's going on. That's an evil entity trying to harm you physically or whatever, and you have the right to defend yourself against that. But that doesn't mean that you're doing it out of the state of vengeance and like some people walk outside, they're from the hood, they're from wherever, and they might be like, I wish somebody started some shit with me. That's somebody going out looking for trouble. They just need you to start it with them so they could be justified. But if you go out, just knowing that you're protecting yourself, you're going out just being harmonious or whatever like that. You're not going out there with this vibration, a high vibration. Then any weapon formed against you will never prosper, because you're on that peace frequency, peace vibration. That's what true liberty is, and liberation is where you're on the frequency of the planet, harmony. Okay, all peace, all love. And some people might say, oh, well, what if something's trying to get you? Like we just, explained all that. If there's somebody attacking you or whatever, you better start cleaning up your frequency and vibration so you don't attract that to you. Because we can get into the universal laws of resonance and all that stuff. How you feel on the inside determines what happens on the outside. You have to start, you're being tricked into lowering your frequency and into attracting these beings into your life. They know they know how this karmic debt, how this law works. Okay, so what they do is they teach you to attract it into your own life. All right, you ever see the movies where it's always about letting the devil in? He can only come in if you let him in. The vampire only comes in if you let him in. Well, they've taught you to let them in. Okay, so you got to be careful. And to this content creator that I'm responding to right here, he talks about he was tricked into letting some demon into his life. We're gonna cover that as well because I feel like this dude's very intriguing. Okay. And yes, I'm personally involved in wanting to know more about this type of stuff because I've had a crazy experience. You think I'm talking about demons and energy vampires on my channel all the time for no reason? And people done seen the street side of me. They seen all type of side of me. They might hear me talking like this and be like, damn, Crucial is crazy or some shit like that. But then they talk to me, they like, dude, this dude make a lot of sense. So I want y'all to know that there is certain beings governing this shit and they're responsible for your fucked up behavior. So yes, a channel like this that's talking about this type of stuff, we're gonna really start covering this. All right, because he's actually deep in the field with this. He's talking some real shit that a lot of people would say is crazy. You know, I even thinking it's crazy. I'm like, what? He's talking about being trapped in a lower realm and all type of crazy shit, but I can't dismiss that. You know what I mean? I can't dismiss it after what I seen. I'm like, bro, I had a whole event happening in my head and outside of my head, and like it was crazy. So to where if I would have told anybody about it at that time and would have really started freaking out, I might be in a mental hospital. But luckily, I contacted some higher beings then through my heart. You know, because you can't pray using thoughts and words. The more you think, the more these beings can come in and pile in. So when I finally got to my heart space, you know, and started speaking from there, I was able to silence the thoughts and contact something higher. And they would even say, just so it don't seem crazy, spiritual people even know this in meditation. When you meditate, you're supposed to have this silence, and then you bring that light. So it is what it is. But we're going to start covering this channel a lot. And, you know, it's just crazy that he mentions the planet restoring itself, which I've been telling you, I've been helping y'all get ready for this event that's coming up. The planet is about to shake off all these fleas. All these energy parasitic vampires are about to get wiped out. And any human that harbors the frequency of them is going to go with it. Okay, and yes, what he kept distinguishing, like the soul can never be destroyed, but the soul is going to go back to source. That's what's going to happen, because you're now this is hard to say to people, but that soul you have is actually one with everything else. So you're actually literally powered by God. So your soul, you're just gonna snap right back into that source, to God. And then it's gonna be like, it's hard to explain, dude. But when I had really meditated and went off into that light, I felt like I was everything. So it's real complicated to tell people. We're gonna slow walk you guys into that one, but you also do have your own conscious. Now, if you want to keep your conscious, you know, you want to keep doing that and keep being who you are, you have to get rid of these things in your body, or you're not going to see that next phase. You're just going to go right back into the source. So your soul, at least, and you're never going to be remembered or thought of again personally. So yes, get yourself back right. Okay. And we'll be covering this. I got some more stuff I got to drop. And yeah, this is crucial. Leave a comment in the comment box. If you think this is crazy or not, I don't care if you criticize what I'm saying. Leave a comment, like the video, share the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and I ain't woke, I'm up. Peace, love, 13.
Crucial 13, you all appreciate it. Shout out to you.
Yeah, Crucial. I'm hungry, hungry. I need some bacon, bacon.
Look at this. Look at it. This is the city I'm in right now.